Part 1. The Smoke That England Tried to Ignore. Hello friends. The 10th of October 1957, 4:30 p.m., Cumbria, northwest England. A foreman walks past pile number 1 on his routine evening check. He stops mid-stride. He squints. He blinks. Then his blood runs cold. Smoke is pouring out of the 400-foot chimney. Not steam. Not vapor. Smoke. Thick, gray, billowing smoke. The kind that comes from fire. This is not a coal plant. This is a nuclear reactor. Nothing inside is supposed to burn. He runs to raise the alarm. But here is the nightmare. No one knows how to stop a fire that was never supposed to start. The manuals do not cover this. The training never mentioned it. The designers swore it could never happen. Deep inside the reactor core, 150 tons of uranium fuel are burning at over 1,300 degrees Celsius. The temperature is still rising. The graphite moderator minus 2,000 tons of it is glowing red hot. Radioactive isotopes are pouring out of the chimney with every second that passes. Iodine 131, cesium 137, polonium 210, invisible, odorless, deadly. Within hours, that radioactive cloud will begin drifting south. Within days, it will contaminate milk supplies across England, but the public will not be told. The government will not admit it. The full truth will remain buried for more than 50 years. This is Windscale, the fire that was started on purpose, the cover-up that lasted 5 decades, and the men who saved a nation then were erased from history. Tonight, on Mystery Doom, we are finally telling their story. The man who spots the smoke is Tom Tuohy, Deputy Works General Manager. He is not supposed to be here. His shift ended hours ago, but something pulled him back. Instinct, unease. He looks up at that chimney and realizes he is standing at the edge of catastrophe. He does not run away. He runs toward the reactor building. The door to pile 1 is hot to the touch. When he opens it, a wall of heat hits him. The air reeks of burning metal. Above him, the charged face is glowing faintly orange. The core behind it is on fire, and nobody knows how to put it out. To understand Windscale, you must understand what it was built for. Windscale Piles 1 and 2 were not power plants. They were not research reactors. They were weapons factories, built in secret to produce plutonium for Britain's atomic bomb. The year was 1947. The war was over, but the Cold War was just beginning. Britain, exhausted and bankrupt, faced an uncomfortable truth. It was no longer a superpower. The Americans had the bomb. The Soviets were racing to build their own. Britain could not be left behind. Prime Minister Clement Attlee made a decision in secret. Parliament was not consulted. The public was not informed. The Treasury was told to find the money, and fast. The Americans used water to cool their plutonium reactors. But Britain had no river large enough and no time to build a complex water system. So British engineers improvised. They built an air-cooled reactor. Giant fans at the front pushed air through thousands of channels in a massive graphite block, cooling the uranium fuel cartridges inside. The heated air rose up a 400-foot chimney and dispersed into the atmosphere. Simple, cheap, fast. There was just one problem. No one had ever built a reactor like this before. The Americans had considered air cooling and rejected it. Too risky, too difficult to control, too easy for something to go wrong. But Britain did not have the luxury of caution. They needed plutonium. They needed it now. So they built it anyway. The men who built Windscale knew the risks. One of them was a young physicist named Terence Price. During construction, he raised a quiet concern at a technical meeting. What happens if a uranium cartridge bursts? He asked. What happens if the uranium catches fire? The smoke will go straight up that chimney. There are no filters, no containment, nothing to stop the radiation from escaping. The room went silent. Someone muttered that it was too difficult, too expensive, too late to change now. The meeting moved on. The minutes did not record the exchange, but Sir John Cockcroft, the director of atomic energy and a Nobel laureate, heard about it. He was alarmed. He ordered filters to be installed on both chimneys, even though the concrete was already set. Workers had to build the massive filter assemblies on the ground, then winch them up to the top of the chimneys with ropes and pulleys. Dangerous work, expensive work. In the eyes of many engineers, completely unnecessary. They called them Cockcroft's follies. They mocked him behind his back. They were certain the filters would never be needed. 8 years later, on the 10th of October 1957, those follies would be the only thing standing between Britain and catastrophe. So how does a nuclear reactor catch fire? The answer lies in a phenomenon that even many physicists did not fully understand in 1957. It is called Wigner energy. Eugene Wigner was a Hungarian-American physicist who worked on the Manhattan Project. In 1942, he discovered something strange. When neutrons pass through graphite, they do not just bounce off. They sometimes collide with carbon atoms and knock them out of place. The atom does not leave the crystal lattice. It just shifts, a tiny dislocation. And those dislocations store energy, like a compressed spring. Like a wound caulk over time, as the reactor operates, billions upon billions of these dislocations accumulate. The graphite becomes a reservoir of potential energy. If it is not released gradually, it can release spontaneously, a sudden, massive burst of heat. This is Wigner energy, and in 1957, the operators at Windscale knew just enough about it to be dangerous. The accepted cure was annealing. Heat the entire reactor core to over 250 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, the graphite becomes slightly flexible. The dislocations relax. The stored energy releases slowly and safely. Windscale Pile 1 had been annealed 8 times before. Each time, it worked. But this time was different. The 7th of October 1957, 3 days before the fire, the operators begin the 9th annealing cycle. Reduce the airflow. Let the reactor heat up naturally. Monitor the thermocouples. Hold the core at 250 degrees for several hours. But something is wrong. The temperatures are not rising evenly. Some channels are hot, some are cold. And in channel 2053, one of nearly 2,000 horizontal fuel channels, the temperature is rising faster than any other. It passes 250 degrees, then 300, then 350, then 400. The operators are confused. The reactor should be cooling. Why is one channel getting hotter? They do not realize what is happening inside that single fuel channel. There are no cameras, no visual inspection ports. The uranium cartridge in channel 2053 has not just burst. It is burning. And the more air they blow through the core to cool it, the more oxygen they feed to the fire. They are not putting it out. They are fanning the flames. By the afternoon of the 10th of October, the situation is critical. The radiation monitors in the chimney begin to scream. The filters are catching most of the radioactive particles, but not all. Iodine-131 is already escaping into the atmosphere. The wind is blowing southeast, toward the populated cities of Lancashire and Yorkshire. Tom Tuohy makes a decision that could kill him. He puts on a respirator and protective clothing. Thin cotton overalls. Nothing that would stop gamma radiation. He walks to the charge face. He pulls out an inspection plug. He puts his eye to the opening and looks inside. The channel is glowing bright orange, like the inside of a furnace, like the open door of a coal fire on a winter night. He has never seen anything like it. No one has. No one ever expected to. He closes the plug and begins to think. What do you do when the unthinkable happens? Windscale had no emergency plan for a reactor fire. The designers had assured everyone it was impossible. The manuals did not cover it. The training did not include it. The operators try everything. They try to push new uranium cartridges into the channel, hoping to knock the burning one out the back. It does not work. They try to blast the channel with carbon dioxide. They empty bottle after bottle into the core. The temperature keeps rising. Someone suggests water, but water on hot uranium, water on molten metal. The physics are terrifying. Water hitting 1,300-degree uranium flashes instantly to steam. It expands 1,600 times in volume. If the steam has nowhere to go, the pressure could shatter the reactor vessel. It could rupture the containment building. It could turn the entire facility into a radioactive bomb. But if they do not use water, the fire will keep burning. The graphite will keep burning. The uranium will keep burning, and the filters will eventually fail. By the evening of the 10th of October, Tom Tuohy has run out of options. He makes the call. Use water. This is the moment that defines a man. Tom Tuohy is not a soldier. He is not a hero in any conventional sense. He is an engineer, a manager. He has a wife and children at home, but he understands, more clearly than anyone else in that building, what is at stake. If the fire is not stopped, the filters will fail. If the filters fail, the radioactive cloud escaping from that chimney will no longer be partially filtered. It will be a full, unfiltered release. Iodine 131, cesium 137, strontium 90, polonium 210. It will spread across England. It will contaminate farmland. It will poison milk. It will give children cancer. And so Tom Tuohy does something that no procedure manual could have anticipated. He climbs onto the roof of the reactor building. He carries a fire hose. He stands directly above the burning core, the hottest point, the most radioactive point, and he begins to spray water down into the inferno. He has no dosimeter, no radiation suit, no idea how much poison he is absorbing. He only knows that if this does not work, nothing will. He stays on that roof for hours. The water works. Not immediately, not dramatically, but slowly, the temperature gauges begin to fall. 400 degrees, 350, 300. By the morning of the 11th of October, the fire is no longer spreading. By the 12th of October, it is out. Tom Tuohy descends from the roof, exhausted, irradiated. He has saved his country from a catastrophe that no one will ever know about, and then the government buries him. Not literally, not yet, but the men who ordered him to take that risk, who built that reactor in a hurry, who ignored the warnings and cut the corners, they have no intention of letting the truth come out. The official inquiry begins in secret. The evidence is classified. The testimony is sealed. And when the final report is written, it does not blame the rushed construction. It does not blame the ignored warnings. It does not blame the political pressure to produce plutonium. It blames the operators. It blames the men who first warned of the dangers. It blames the very workers who risked their lives to put out the fire. Tom Tuohy is not fired. He is not demoted. He is simply erased. His name disappears from the official records. His heroism is never acknowledged. He is told to keep quiet. He does, for 30 years. But the truth cannot stay buried forever. In 1988, 3 decades after the fire, the British government finally declassifies the Windscale inquiry records. The tape recordings are released. The testimony is made public. And for the first time, the British people learn what really happened on that October night in 1957. They learn about the rushed construction, the ignored warnings, the fire that burned for 3 days, the filters that saved the country, the men who risked their lives on that roof, and they learn that for 30 years, their own government lied to them. This is Windscale, the fire that was started on purpose, the cover-up that lasted 5 decades, and the men who saved a nation then were erased from history. In Part 2, we take you deep inside the reactor itself, the graphite core, the fuel channels, the Wigner energy that had been accumulating since the day the reactor was switched on, and the political pressure that made disaster inevitable. You will meet the engineers who warned of catastrophe. You will understand why Cockcroft's follies were not follies at all, and you will see how a single missed warning, a single ignored question, set the stage for the fire that almost destroyed England. This is not just history. This is a warning, and we are only beginning.